What's up, guys? Welcome to Truth Be Told,
where we seek truth
and speak truth.
I'm Susie.
I'm Jimena.
And I'm Brandon.
And today we have a special guest. It is our pastor, our lead pastor, Pastor Chan, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hey, guys. Yeah, it's good to be here. Thanks for the invitation. I've been watching your first podcast, and it's been fun to see and to hear. So I'm honored. I'm honored to be here. Yeah, I'm Pastor David. My wife, Christy, we've been at Calvary for a long time, kind of off and on, but I've been lead pastor for the last year, and so honored to be here.
Yeah, we're so happy to have you. So today our topic will be about relationships because we are in the month of Valentine's Day. Mm-hmm. So it's just going to be about relationships. We're going to ask Pastor David about marriage. You know, he's married, and we're just going to get into the topic today.
Yeah, I also think that it's really important for us to have a guest here that has like so much more experience than us because like this topic I don't think we would be fully prepared to speak on because we have just the same amount of like knowledge on this as you guys do. Yeah. So yeah, Jimena, if you want to ask our icebreaker question.
Yes. Okay, what's a green flag that everyone should look for in a friend or in a relationship?
Nice. I think one of the main things, especially as us as Christians, is that they love God. If they don't love God, that's an immediate turn off for me. And I think it should be mandatory for every single person who does have a relationship with God. It's the number one thing.
Yeah. I think another one is like the fruit that they bear. Like, because they could love God, they could know God, but if they're not bearing good fruit, then that shows something might be a tweak wrong with that person. Like, if they give off like bad energy, then you don't want that in your life.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think mine on like a little bit of a less like theological note, this is just like a very like normalized like kind of like culture type thing of like today's world. It's also just like the way that we talk about like love languages like now. Yeah. And I think that like one of the things that I don't really like is when somebody's like, oh, my specific love language is this, or my love language is this. Because I think all of like the love languages are super important. And I think what's really important in a friendship and a relationship is to understand all of them and why they're important. Yeah. So I think that's like a really important thing.
Yeah. That is good. Pastor David, do you want to add anything?
Yeah. I mean, I think having someone who listens well, you know, is you know, whatever level of relationship you're at, whether it's just friends or beyond that, having someone that really listens well and understands you, there's nothing better than that. And so, I think that would be a green flag I would definitely look for.
Yeah, that's really good. Just listening is one of the biggest parts about relationship. You can't, if you don't listen or the person's not listening to you, then it's a one-way relationship. Yeah. And that's something that you really need to avoid, especially in a God-centered relationship, is that one-way relationship. It's just not healthy.
Yeah. I also think that it's about listening, but also just as much being willing to have a conversation as well after you've listened. Yeah. Like if you just hear the person out and you're like, oh, okay, but anyways, then that just really doesn't help that much, you know? Yeah. So I think it has to be both of those things in like combination. Yeah. But anyway, we're going to get into the first question, and this one's for Pastor David. And we just want to like briefly just touch on like how you and Miss Christy met and just giving us like your story.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Are you going to ask her later to make sure it matches? Or I don't know. Yeah, thanks for asking. Yeah, Christy and I, we met while we were in seminary. So we were both already out of college. And so by then, you know, we were kind of probably pretty sure about what we were looking for or not looking for in a relationship. In fact, though, we met at a time when we both were actually thinking we're not looking for anything anymore. We're just kind of wanted to serve God. We both were thinking about serving overseas in different parts of the world. So when we met, we just kind of thought, oh, she's going that way, I'm going the other way. We could just be friends, right? Yeah. But God had other plans, and we just kept seeking God in our relationship. So we met at a professor's house that had a picnic. And so that's kind of where it all started. And then we started dating just a few months into that, but with real intentionality. We just kind of were like, okay, at this point of our lives, we're either dating towards marriage or not going to date at all. So we actually met and married within less than a year.
Oh, wow.
So not what I would recommend when you're, 17 or 18, but we were in our mid 20s and it was just different. But it was, and so since then we've been married for 27 years, we're going on almost 28.
Wow.
And have 3 kids, and they all just got married. So, relationships have been on our minds quite a lot recently.
Wow, that's amazing. And it's just, there's one thing you said is like it was in 1 year span of period. And what I've seen in other people's relationships and with people like my friends is that there are a lot of levels to where you're at and what you should be doing in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just really important to emphasize that and to make sure you know where you are and you know where they are.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite verses in the Bible I love to bring up all the time, especially in relationships, is the verse about the 2 oxen. They have to be equally yoked. And if one is too high or one is too low, then it's not going to work out. And it just applies perfectly to our relationships, not only romantic relationships, but also friendships and relationships with family. And it just goes so deep. So yeah, that's what I noticed.
Yeah, good point. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think another thing that I observed from that is just like also like the ages that you guys were, where you guys were already at in life. I think that now it's like we're so eager to just like rush ourselves and be like, oh, well, yeah, I'm like a sophomore in high school. Let me just like start dating when I'm not really prepared for this at this point. Like I'm not driving yet. I'm not like out of high school. And I think that that's like a really like interesting thing to notice, that a lot of relationships, I'm not saying that it can never like work out, but I'm saying like a lot of relationships that start once you've had a little bit more life experience, I think that they're probably a better like foundation, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think like another like point that I found like when you were telling us your story is where you were in life with Christ. Like how well and how far you were with Christ, and where you said that y'all guys didn't want anything. Like that's when God really brought it into your life. You don't wait for it. You just let it be and let it be God's will.
Exactly. Yeah, we definitely found that to be true. Yeah. It's like the more you chase something, sometimes the farther it gets away from you.
Yeah.
Because God wants all of our hearts, all of our attention on him, and once that's there, then everything falls into place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the funniest thing. I see so many like good Christian couples that are now married. Like all of their stories are, oh yeah, I was telling God, you know what? It's fine if I'm single. And then they end up getting married.
Yeah.
So it's truly beautiful how once you just give your life to God, everything else comes. And it might not be a relationship, or might be, but God's going to give you what you need and what he needs for you to glorify him.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to lead us into our second question is, why do relationships matter so much to us? What about them did God make that just makes it matter so much to us as human beings?
Yeah. I think like a big part of it is that we need a relationship with God. So it is God's perfect to just have relationships, not like dating relationships, but have people like around you, because God, like one of the biggest things he did, he made Adam not be alone, because man is not supposed to be alone. So he made other people for us to be a community. And like the fact that we also need a relationship with him, that's like a big part, because that shows that relationships are like a grip hold on us.
Yeah, I also think that like we've talked about like the importance of like a church community, like in like sermon series and stuff. We've talked about how important those things are. And I think that the reason that it's so important is also just like that as humans, we crave like interaction. And we also, as Christians, like want to pour into people, and we also want to be poured into, whether that be like a romantic or relationship or also just a friendship. I think that having somebody to lean on like that is so comforting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you guys are hitting on really the core of that, right? It goes all the way back to what you said. God made man and said it's not good for man to be alone. And so we've been craving for relationship ever since then. But it's also interesting that we're made in the image of God, and God is relational, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, he exists in community even far before, time on earth began.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's a relational God, so we're relational people. And so relationships, I think it's good that you guys have said it's not just about man and woman being together in marriage, right? That we need relationship in a lot of different ways, and the church community provides that in a powerful way. And so, yeah, what's interesting is the world tells you, well, you need a relationship because you're half a person. It's like a very romantic idea of you complete me, right? And and it's sweet, right?
Yeah.
But it implies that I'm not enough of a person without that other half. Whereas, I like to talk about this with couples that are getting married. I say, what God intended was two whole people in marriage coming together and becoming one, not two half people becoming one. Because 50 plus 50 makes 100 is good math, but God said marriage is a mystery, not good math, right? And the mystery is how two wholes become one. But we'll talk more about that later, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the next question is, how do you know when you're ready to date?
Yeah, I think this one is going to be a little bit more directed towards you.
Okay, all right. Well, you guys have a lot of wisdom. I love that. So feel free to chime in. But, I think, God gave us parents for a good reason. And as much as we may not like it, especially in our teenage years, they know us the best.
Yeah.
And so listening to our parents, I think, is a very important key.
Yeah.
And cultivating a relationship with them. I know sometimes these kind of things are awkward to talk about with parents, but if you cultivate a good relationship, you can get to that point where maybe they can help you. I wouldn't say there's a set age, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of different factors of stage of life. Where are you in your journey? And then what's the point of dating? And this is, again, where a lot of people have different ideas of what dating is about. I would say if you're a teenager, spend a lot of time in groups. Get to know, you may like someone, have a crush on someone, get to know them in a group setting, as much as you can. That doesn't mean you have to necessarily go to that one-on-one right away. But there's a verse in Song of Songs, Song of Solomon, which another question might be, how old should you be when you read Song of Solomon in the Bible? But anyway, talk to your parents about that. But 3 times, it's about love. It's about romantic love. And 3 times it says, don't awaken love until it's time. So I think what that tells me is there's a right time, and then there's a time that's not right.
Yeah.
But you have to discern that with your parents, with counselors, or mentors in your life. The more mentors you have that know you, that love you, that want the best for you, the better. So you can have that guidance before you do that. Oops, I smacked Jesus.
Yeah, that's really good. One thing, me personally, I think for most teenagers, it's really good to look at sometime after high school, because your mind's not fully developed until 25. And when I'm not saying you have to wait until 25 to get married or to date, our minds are still developing a lot, especially through these teenage years. And it's very awkward.
Yeah.
It's very awkward, especially in this stage. So, and hormones are flying everywhere. So it's really hard to set something on a good foundation in high school. At least this is my personal experience and the way I see it. So waiting till after high school, when you have a better foundation in your emotional state, your mental state, even physical state, and especially spiritual state, it's going to help you a lot. I mean, a lot.
Yeah.
And your financial state.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think one thing that I heard about what you're saying is that, it's not to rush it. Don't do it by yourself. Don't just say, hey, I'm just going to date. I'm just going to start now. Without any help. You need your parents, of course, even if you don't agree with them on anything. But I know from personal experience that my mom knows a lot better than I do. So, don't rush yourself into it because everyone else is doing it. You know?
one thing I want to say on that is when God created Eve, he said it's not good for man to be alone. But Adam didn't create Eve by himself. Adam didn't come to the conclusion, oh, I need a partner. He didn't know that in the moment. God is the one who helped Adam, and God is the one who formed Eve. Adam didn't even ask God for Eve. God knew what he needed and gave him Eve. So it's not good for man to be alone, and it's also not good for man to make his decisions by himself.
Yeah. Well, I'll say is one of my like favorite quotes. I don't know who said it. I just love the way that it's put, is like the idea of like how everybody is so focused on chasing people, and then those things just like fall through and it doesn't work out for them. But like maybe if we started chasing God and not people, then we would find people that we wouldn't have to chase. And I think that that's such like a representation of what we've been saying right now. Like once we stop necessarily looking for something that's going to fulfill us and we're already fulfilled in Jesus, then we can start the process of a relationship.
Yeah, because you can't go to someone and expect them to fill like this void that you have, which should be Jesus Christ. He should be your whole heart, and that's what makes you whole. Like how you said, we're half a heart. He's the one that makes us whole, and if that other part of us connects with someone else that also is their whole, we become one.
And then you have something to give, right? You're not entering a relationship to receive. You're entering a relationship to give. And that's such a difference maker, right? Because if you're just looking to get, then eventually that person's going to get tired of giving, right?
Yeah.
But if you're both looking to give to each other, then you're really serving each other. And but that idea of when is the right time, I think is such an important question, even just to date, not even talking about marriage, because what couple ever got together, started exclusively dating, and then said, well, let's go back a few steps, right? The natural instinct, and this is how God wired us, right, is to, once you start a romantic relationship, is you want to go further and further and further. You want more time together. You start building a dream together. And if you're in high school or younger, then most likely that's going to, wreck at some point, because you can't make lifelong plans together very easily when you're in high school or younger. And so I think it's an important thing to remember. Once you awaken that dating romantic spark, you're just going to want more and more and more. And unless you're ready for that in a stage of life where you can build on that, then that's why I think dating can be so challenging at a younger age.
Yeah, I also think it has to do a lot with like emotional maturity, and also how you view what the purpose of dating is. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if I were just to go into a relationship and say, oh, I'm getting into a relationship because everybody else around me is getting into a relationship, or because I think it'll be fun, or, oh, I like this person good enough,
Yeah.
And then it's not going to be like a good thing for you because you don't have the right intention behind it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, I think I did hear this from you, that like when you're in a relationship, you kind of like don't want to do it as a thing as like, oh, you're already thinking about ending it. Like you're like, oh, how is this going to go? I'm pretty sure we talked about this. But it's like, if you get into a relationship, you should be thinking about, where is this gonna go, not when is this gonna end. Like you have to have that mindset, is like, I'm gonna get married to this person, or just, oh, I'm just gonna wait until I get with someone else.
Yeah, I think we just don't think about the future. Like now, I think that when you get into relationships in high school, more times than others, it's most of the time just like, oh, this is the person that I want next to me for right now, for this month, or maybe for the next 2 months or the next year. And it's not necessarily like, oh, this is the person that I want to stand by me for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I see two main types of people. There's the people who don't think enough about the future, like you guys were saying, and there's the people who think too much about the future. Me personally, I'm someone who's always anxious for the future. I think, oh yeah, this is going to be great for the rest of my life. I cannot believe that I found this early or whatever like that. But here's a problem with that type of thinking, is that you're not thinking about the present. You're not thinking about the journey on the way there. There's going to be a lot of difficulties and things that you didn't foresee because you're looking too far ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not seeing your current state right now, and that's when you begin to crumble. And then the future you so anxiously wanted disappears and everything falls down.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's also a really good other side that people also cling onto, and it's really important to mention both.
Yeah, I like the fact that you showed those different types of like mindsets of people in a relationship. And it's also like if you look too far in the future and you're too like anxious, you're like, wait, how am I going to afford that? Wait, how am I going to do that? You're not giving it to God. That's the biggest problem. You need to give it to God. You need to stop worrying about this. You have to be grateful that such a graceful and merciful God is letting you be in this relationship, to like praise him for it. If it's for God, then you should praise him for it instead of worrying about what he's going to do, because his plan is already set and he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Brandon, do you want to ask the next question?
Oh yeah, sure. So the next question is, let me get it. What is something you, Pastor Chan, wish you knew about relationships as a teenager?
Oh man, I wish I had a Truth Be Told podcast to help me with a lot of these questions, because I love the different angles you guys bring and a lot of good truth from different angles. What do I wish I knew when I was a teenager about dating? Yeah. Well, I mean, pretty much everything we're saying here. I had a very good Christian upbringing, but my parents never talked to me about dating or relationships or, intimacy and all that. And so where was I getting my education from? From what I saw in the world, right? My friends at school and high school. And so I thought dating in the church with Christians, was no different from dating what I saw in high school with the non-Christian friends and basketball team and stuff like that. So unfortunately, I didn't see clear differences, like how are we supposed to do it. In fact, even in our youth group in the church I was growing up in, it was kind of like, it was a church that had teenagers and young adults kind of together. That was the youth group.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the like upper teens and maybe even up to 20, 21-year-olds, they were in serious dating relationships in the church, but they were very unhealthy. They were no different than what we saw out in the world. So again, just what you guys are talking about of kind of, what does God want? What does God intend? And what does that look like in a very practical way? The things you guys are talking about is so practical, and I think that's what I wish I would have had, just kind of some practical steps. Probably one of the most important things would be that I can enjoy the company of somebody else that I like without having to do just one-on-one exclusive on your own dating. I wish I would have known that. Yeah. That it, just spend time together in groups and you can get to know each other that way, hang out that way, and then let, if God means it to become something, let that happen in its right time and place. Instead, it was kind of like just, how quickly can you just be one-on-one with someone? And that was not healthy, when I was a teenager.
Yeah. I really like what you said about practical steps, because relationships are super complicated. There's a lot of levels to them. There's foundation. There's everything. There's a lot of things that you need to know about relationships, and you need to know everything though. And you need to know those basic foundation, practical ways and practical wisdom and knowledge in order to have a successful relationship. And one of those is just having a relationship with God, of course. One of the most beautiful things in the Bible of all time is our relationship with God, our intimate relationship with God, and the way that he mirrors that for us so we can learn from him and our relationship, so that way we can have friends, that way we can build relationship with our fathers and mothers and brothers and sisters, and also the person that we might marry. It's just a beautiful way of God mirroring that for us. He's so he's the good shepherd, so he's going to show us what to do, and he's going to point us in the right direction.
Yeah. And I think I also have like something, because it's like, I mean, I'm not fully like advanced, I don't know everything, but like some things that I wish I knew before I did them is like, if I liked someone, I don't need to talk to them endlessly. I don't need to talk to them every day. I don't need to just be with them every second. Even, for friends, I don't need that, because usually friends, not all the time are you together. So you don't need to be there all the time asking them, hey, what are you doing? Hey, this is that. Like, maybe every now and then. But I wish, like, I didn't put myself in that position where I just kept going, like hoping that something would happen. Like, I wish I would stop myself so I wouldn't get hurt, because then that's just on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of that, like, pressure kind of stems from not just, like, the people around us, but also, like, the media that's out there now. I feel like we're very pressured from a very young age to be like, oh, who do you like? Who do you like?
Yeah.
Who are you, like, interested in? What are you going to do about it? So I think that really leads really well into our next question, which is, what advice would you give to teenagers who feel rushed to date?
Yeah. I keep coming back to that verse I mentioned earlier from Song of Songs, Song of Solomon. It's in chapter 2, and it repeats in chapter 3 and again in chapter 8. Just don't awaken love until it's time. I mean, there's just so much wisdom in that I didn't know when I was a teenager, And I think if you're feeling pressure, just know that that God made us and designed us, and so that romantic kind of relationship is meant to be at a time and place when you're ready for it. And like you guys have been saying, if you're seeking God and trusting him, he's going to bring that person to you at just the right time, and it's going to be beautiful. You should not cave in to any pressure, whether it's your own or the pressure of others around you, because it's going to just end up in heartbreak.
Yeah.
That's just the bottom line, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's also important that you don't see, like, even if you are rushed, like, relationships are so pure. They're supposed to be for you and that one person only, not for one person back to back, back to back, back to back. There is that one person that God has for you, and you need to save yourself for that person. You don't need to be rushed into dating someone because someone tells you to. And either, like, don't make people feel bad for not liking someone. Some people don't like people. Like, there's like a time where they're just like, I'm not into anybody, and like, people shouldn't be like, oh my gosh, like, how do you not like anyone? Like, how have you never liked anyone? Like that's not because something is wrong with you. That's a really powerful thing, because that shows that, like, you're like holding yourself for that one person. You're not rushing to like someone just because, oh, they're pretty, oh, they're good looking, they have pretty eyes. Like, that's not what it's for. It's for a relationship between one and God. So that's what it's about.
There's a lot of truth in that, Jimena. And I think, looking back at myself and other people I've known, you do kind of have like a romantic love bank stored up in you. And as soon as you start giving it out, like, you don't automatically refill it. Does that make sense? And so, when you start giving out, your romantic love to people, but it's not the lifelong partner, it's not the right time and place, you don't get that back. And I think that's an important thing to remember, that you want to save that for that person that's just going to be the godsend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Bible also says to guard your heart, and because everything that you do flows from it. And I think that's why it's so important to choose carefully the people that you allow into your life, not even just in a romantic sense, but also like in a friendship sense, in who you surround yourself with, in who you're allowing to speak into your life. You know what I'm saying? Because like, if you're not careful, like, it's irrefutable. You are influenced by the people that you hang out with. No matter what you say, no matter like, oh, I can like be around this person and it won't affect me. You know what I'm saying? It does to some extent. It affects your mindset. So having the right people that you're being influenced by, that's something really important. And that's like in a relationship and in a friendship.
Yeah, and I think also it's an important part who you have around you. I don't remember where I heard this from. I have like the brain of a goldfish, but you are 20% of the 5 closest people around you. Who you're around, those people, what they give, the negativity, you are that. Like that's like 20% of you. And that's like a big number.
Yeah.
Even if it's sounds small, that is a big number for 5 people to have on you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you need to be careful who you have in your life, because that's who you bring in as yourself. That's who you start becoming slowly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One thing, it's a little off topic, but there's a sense that a lot of people get is that going on in a relationship, but knowing they should stop, or not knowing they should stop. A lot of people will have the will to go all the way until marriage. But here's the thing, just because you can get married doesn't mean that's going to last. If it's not built on a sturdy foundation, if it's not built on Christ, first of all, then divorce is a very real thing that can come. And it breaks my heart. Like literally, I do not ever want to be in a divorce. It's when I see it and when I hear about it, it genuinely breaks my heart.
Yeah.
It is one of the worst things I think can happen to somebody. And it's just, it's the Jesus, our relationship with Jesus, it was never meant to be broken. And if that mirrors the way we should have relationships with other people, then our relationships with other people were never meant to be broken. And it's just a sad thing to see. So even if you do have the will to go all the way, there's points where it's safe to cut it off, where it's safe to protect yourself and guard your heart in order to see what God has in store later.
Yeah, and I think also in the Bible, if you do have a divorce, there is a lot of things that come with it. There's rules that say you can't get remarried because of it in the Bible. You can't get remarried because something happened. Just because you both weren't you weren't like in a relationship where it was God as your rock. You are unyoked, and God tells us not to be with unyoked people because that's like an unbalance in the shift, so that can ruin a relationship.
Yeah, it's the punishment for knowing God's truth but suppressing it. And I love the way Romans 1 says it. It's the people, we have suppressed the truth, and then God gave us over to our reprobate minds. I think that's the right word.
Yeah.
And we get punished for it. It's a devastating punishment.
Yeah, it's like you reap what you sow. Yeah.
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 But
But yeah, divorce is very painful because it usually affects a lot more people than the two, right? Than the couple.
like children.
Yeah. But you're right.
Yeah.
It's interesting what you're saying, because also, because marriage doesn't magically solve people's problems, you know? And sometimes people think, oh, as soon as I get married, then it's like everything's going to be wonderful. No, it comes back to that, you know, are you whole in Christ? Are you pursuing God? And then are you able to serve one another and then build something together? Because that's what marriage is you're building something together. And so, yeah, it's wise to not necessarily rush into marriage. If you think, oh, that's where I'm going to find my happiness and my wholeness, then no. Then you're already starting off on the wrong track. And so better to back off.
Yeah. I mean, marriage would be even more difficult than a relationship in retrospect, because you're spending like all the time with this person. You're living with this person. In a relationship where you're just seeing them like, oh, hey, do you want to go out this week? Like, you can just go home.
Yeah.
But in this case, you go home, there they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you have to learn how to coexist with each other. And that's like a whole nother thing.
I guess I'll say the next question, which is, what do you do when you have feelings for someone, but you know it's not the right time? I think the biggest thing is to pray about it. Like, you just have to pray about it, because it's like, if you can't control yourself, then don't even think about getting close to that person, because you can also affect them. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to hurt someone else. You don't want to have them go through that trouble. So it's like, you have to pray for it, so you can just give it to God. Like, hey, God, like,
That's
I need your help to help me through this. Like, help me, like, be able to control myself, like, in your thoughts and what you do, your physical self, like how, like, different things in your life.
Yeah. I'm just thinking of a metaphor, like with the ship, it has an anchor, right? And it's anchored to the dock. So that way, the ship doesn't move away from the dock, and it doesn't go into the sea where it's going to get destroyed. And you can think about the same thing in a relationship with somebody you might like or you take interest in. You need to be anchored on the port of God, so that way you don't fall into something that breaks your heart, breaks your ship, you know? And it's just, the main thing is keep your relationship with God. Your relationship with God is always going to be the number one thing in your life for all of eternity. Not even just life on earth, but all of eternity. So a relationship with a romantic partner should never be your first priority. And you should always just be anchored in God. And once you're anchored in God, then he's going to bring the right thing to you. It's not like you can unanchor and then you're off on your way. God is still going to bring you what you need if you're anchored.
Yeah. I also think that another thing just to say, because everything that we've said so far is really good, but just to add like another perspective, it also depends on what we mean by it's not the right time. Because for some people, and we haven't really broached this topic very much, and that's why I'm bringing it up, but for some people, it could be like years down the road and they're like, oh, I'm not ready. I can't do this. And I don't think that anybody is ever fully going to be ready. You just like, you need to have faith. So I think it's really dangerous to fall into a cycle where it's like, oh, it's not the right time. It's not the right time. When will it ever be the right time? Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's like also when you say like, if it's not the right time, don't push yourself. Don't say, oh, I'll just do it. Like, because like if you know it's not the right time and you just do it, that's just also like disobedience, because you're forcing it, and that could do a lot of damage to the other person, because maybe they do fall in love with you. Maybe you get that strong relationship, but because you just force yourself and you aren't ready and you're just like, I can't do this anymore, that's going to hurt them. And it'll also hurt you in the end, because you're going to be like, why did I do that?
Yeah. And I think, you pray about that. You really, talk to God about that relationship and say, Lord, how do I approach this, or help me? Like you said earlier, help me not to just, obsess in my thoughts about this person. Because obviously then there's something not healthy there. And so obviously, if you like someone, and you really care about them, you hold it with an open hand, right? And not try to grasp it. Right. And I've heard that said, like if you hold a bird, with your open hand, it's some old saying, that even if it flies away, it's one thing, but it has the opportunity to come back to you, then it's yours, right? And so I think that's the thing. If you like someone and you're not sure whether you should say something or not, put it in God's hands and hold it with an open hand. And then if the right time and moment comes, God will lead you to say, hey, here's the moment, right? But if you don't think it's the right time, then don't force it.
Yeah. You don't want to grasp the bird, or else you're going to kill it.
Exactly.
So, I guess I'll ask our last question. And it's, what one piece of advice would you give to our podcast listeners? What's the one takeaway you would want to give to teenagers?
Okay, about relationships.
About relationships.
Well, I think, obviously everything we've talked about here, I think is really good. I think your questions are very, very practical. We keep talking about that verse. I keep talking about that verse, don't awaken love until it's time. But even what Susie said about, above all things, guard your heart. I think, this is where, kind of the pressure of the world is kind of give your heart away. Just throw your heart at this, throw your heart at that. And especially if you're young, you need to guard your heart. You need to find out, who am I? Who's God made me to be? And what am I passionate about? And then find partners along the route that you're walking with God. But let me say something about that too. We're talking about relationships, and I know with Valentine's Day, it's about, we talk about mostly couple and romantic relationships, but even though God made marriage, with a purpose, he also has purpose. He also made singleness, right?
Yes.
And so whether someone, like one of our best friends, Christy and I, is has been single all her life, and she's had an amazing life, just a dynamic life, both as a professional and also serving God. And maybe at some point she wanted to get married, but she didn't need that to become fully who God made her to be. And I think if you kind of shrink that back down to your teenage years, whenever you feel pressure of being with someone, just recognize, God made you so you could, be fulfilled on your own as well, with friends, with family, with purpose. You don't have to have someone to complete you. And I just think that's really an important thing to take away from this.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Pastor David. It's been an amazing time with you on this podcast. I feel like we've really all had like good things to say. And thank you for kind of overseeing us and make sure we don't say something wrong or hypocritical.
No, you guys have a lot of good stuff to say. I enjoy this so much. Thank you.
But yeah, with that being said, Jimena, you can give our bottom line, our truth.
Yes. Truth be told, don't rush into a relationship if it's not led by God.
Amen.
Well said. Well said.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for that. I've been loving like having like our little one-liners at the end, just in case you guys spaced out or something, maybe. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
But yeah, right now at this time, I think we're gonna like shift into just like closing out, and we were gonna ask you if you could just close us in prayer.
Yeah, I would love to. Thank you. Father God, I thank you for this podcast and this chance to be together. Lord, I know that we're talking among ourselves, but there's other people that will be watching and engaging with this. And so I pray, first of all, that everybody who sees this or hears this would just know that they are loved, that you made them and you love them, and you made them for a relationship with you, first of all, with their families, and with a spiritual family as well. And that at the right time, Lord, you will awaken love in us, in each person, when it's the right time and the right place. And so I just pray that everybody watching this or listening would just be encouraged and strengthened to know that you just abundantly love them, and that you have a beautiful plan for their life if they'll continue to seek you and wait on you, because the best things come when we wait on you, Lord. Lord, I pray for this week, as Valentine's Day is celebrated, that you would help us to understand the real meaning behind that, the pure love that you gave us, Lord, and the sacrificial love that you call us to. I think of Saint Valentine, the actual person that lived centuries ago, was a very sacrificial person, Lord. So help us, Lord, not, whether we're in romantic relationships or not, help us to look to serve someone this weekend. And may that be the way that we celebrate above all else, Lord. So again, thank you for this time. I pray that you bless everybody who's listening and encourage them, Lord, that you have a beautiful plan for their lives. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Well, we'll see you guys next time on the Truth Be Told podcast. See ya.
Bye, guys.